Brought to you by
Envy, the power of French perfume.
Nice perfume. Nice perfume.
Envy, the power of French perfume.
Arshdeep seems to be having a, his hand is strapped up. What's the thing?
Yeah, he took a ball while he was bowling there, sighted a ball and he tried to stop it and it's just a cut. So we have to see how bad the cut is. Obviously the medical team have taken him off to see a doctor. And obviously if he needs stitches or doesn't need stitches, that's going to be important to our planning for the next few days.
Ryan, obviously this has been a long tour, and there's been a lot of talk about Bumrah's workload. But going forward, you want to check on Siraj's workload as well. So how do you think he's coping up with leading the attack, and how do you look at it?
First thing I'll say is it hasn't felt like a long tour. It's been exciting from day one, like you get up every morning and you can't wait for what the next day brings. And obviously these guys are working so hard, especially the guys who are new to the squad. So it's been a very refreshing tour in that sense. Let's first start with Siraj before we talk about Bums. I think we sort of take for granted how lucky we are to have someone like that. I know he doesn't always have the returns that you expect from a fast bowler, but in terms of heart, he's like a lion, and what he brings to this bowling attack, whenever he does have the ball in hand, you always feel like something's going to happen. He's not someone who's going to shy away from workload, but so it makes it even more important for us to manage his workload and make sure that he's at least fit to give his best. And again, we'll take a call on the combination we play, particularly given the Arshdeep situation as well. We'll make that call closer to Manchester.
Ryan, considering the conditions in Manchester, you think might be, those conditions might just suit the Indian fast bowlers, the Indian players, the Indian team?
I mean, it could. Also, I'm not sure Manchester's the same as Manchester of 10, 15 years ago. But look, we don't look for excuses and conditions. We're playing on the same wickets as the other team, and I think we've made it a point within the group to stay away from any excuses, and the guys have been really good at that. So the challenge is to get the best out of the players, to look at the conditions we expect, try to fit the pieces of who we can play in that, and just ask the guys to go out there and do their best, like I feel they've done for large parts of the series so far.
Ryan, firstly, Shubham said the other day that Rishab should be fine for Manchester. What's the process of him coming back, in the sense like what does he think? Keep or bat today, obviously he's taken, still that impact is there. Can you give an idea about when he starts fully training again?
He will bat in Manchester before the test. Look, I don't think you're going to keep Rishab out of the test no matter what. He batted with quite a lot of pain in the third test, and it's only going to get easier and easier on his finger. And keeping's obviously the last part of the process to make sure that he can keep. We don't want to go through that again where we have to replace the keeper halfway through an innings. But yeah, he rested today. We're just trying to give the finger as long as possible, and hopefully he's good to go in Manchester on the first training session.
So what you're saying is Joel is also going to be in the equation?
He is in the equation, but I mean, obviously if Rishab's fit, he plays the next test and does both.
One question. India have come so close to winning and being in winning positions, and they've lost the grip just when it mattered. When that happens more than once, obviously for the coaches, it's like you have to kind of find ways to ensure that the spirit doesn't go away. How do you think, how are you addressing that?
I think the focus is to not try to change too much, and that might be counterintuitive when you're 2-1 down in the series, but we feel like the guys have been excellent for large parts of the series. The repetition of losing lots of wickets in a very short space of time has obviously been the key feature of the two losses. Probably both times in Headingley, and obviously overnight and first thing in the morning at Lords, we feel cost us the game, losing 6 wickets for 40 again. But if you look at individually, if you look at the run tally of all the batters, they're all batting nicely. Even someone like Curran, we feel his rhythm's good, his tempo's good. We want more runs from at 3. But the message is mainly, let's really focus on what we've done well and tidy up the little things that have cost us results, essentially.
Coach, no ambiguity on Bumrah playing?
No, we'll make that call in Manchester still. We know we've got him for one of the last 2 tests. I think it's pretty obvious the series on the line now in Manchester, so there will be a leaning towards playing him. But again, we've got to look at all the factors. How many days of cricket are we going to get up there? What do we feel is our best chance of winning that game? And then how that fits in together with the Oval and looking at the last 2 games holistically as part of the series.
And your thoughts on workload management vis-a-vis what Ben Stokes did on day 5? As a team, did you take note of that? And just overall your thoughts on workload management, if it's overrated at any point?
Look, that was super impressive for Ben to come out in that last day and bowl the amount of overs he did with the intensity he did, and obviously bats and fields as well. We're not here to compare, our bowlers to individuals from other teams. We have our own strengths. We know what particularly Jasprit does in spells, in shorter spells, which he prefers bowling in. And when the time's right, and what I alluded to earlier about Siraj, some bowlers are like that. You get the best out of them in their 7th, 8th, or 9th over. But not everyone has to be the same as that, and we feel that in consultation with Jasprit, how we use him is the best way for the team.
Coach, in terms, you just touch upon the fact that you lost wickets in the heat, but also the fact that just at the breaks is when the wickets fell. Is this something that the batting group has spoken about?
It has. You got to sort of weigh up, is it more coincidence or is there a pattern of something we're doing wrong? Are we losing concentration? Are we getting too excited to get in there? Are we getting complacent in the positions we are? And that's very difficult to draw out of players. So it is something we're mentioning. There's been a few times where you almost feel like it can't happen again. I was throwing balls at the back at Lords when Rishab got run out, and it was incredulity. You couldn't believe that it happened again. But that's also no guarantee that they're going to put on another 70, 80, 100 runs. Every ball is important. And I think the messaging to the players throughout has been like, let's try win every single event, which is every ball, not look too far forward and not look too far behind us either.
Also to get Morne bowl at Karun Yashasvi today, is that something to do with his height and the kind of bounce that even at this age that he provides for the batters to prepare? It's
not a sort of a direct sort of practice machine for Jofra, I'm assuming you're alluding to. But obviously Arsh going away there after he cut his hand, and Akash not bowling today. Sometimes we run a bit thin, and if we think the practice is good for someone bowling off 20 yards and a bit taller and shaping the new ball, it is good practice for the batters. They obviously like competing against Morne as well. But it's mainly about getting the batters the best practice for the test match.
Run this such a long 4-5 test matches, how important it is as a coach to keep virtually everybody match fit, and everybody, since there are different kind of pitches, it could be spinners one day, it could be, how important it is, and the things that you do to keep everybody ready.
I'm worried you guys keep referring to this as a long tour. You guys are you tired?
5 test tour is a long tour.
It is a long tour. No, that's a great question. I mean, particularly we're carrying 18, which is a bit larger. So I guess it's giving as much attention and much care to the guys who aren't playing as who aren't playing, making sure they get quality practice between tests, talking to them about why we are going with the combinations we're not going with, and hoping that they're in the right frame of mind and obviously physically and technically ready to play test cricket when their chance comes. Unfortunately, when you have 18 quality players, you're going to get guys, coming on tour not playing a test. But certainly managing that space and managing the team environment is very important to keeping everyone ready to play, but also to keeping the mood in the dressing room good.
Coach, are we keeping an eye on the changes England made on their squad? Liam Dawson is there. They bought Liam Dawson, and then Jacob Bethley is there, and then Gus Atkinson. So, a lot of batting depth as far as their bowlers are also concerned. So, are we looking towards that also?
Yeah, we're always up to speed with what they're doing. Obviously, Bashir going out of the test and Dawson coming in. It hasn't been a series that's been dominated by spin so far, as we kind of thought. Obviously, Washi bowled beautifully at Lords on the fourth afternoon there, but it just poses a slightly different challenge. I don't think it's any more easy or any more difficult. It's just different, and the players are obviously aware of that, and we try to prep accordingly. Strength for strength coming in, we don't feel it's much different and much the same when we put a team out. Even when you're leaving the number one bowler in the world out, the message is it's not who we put out there, it's what we put out there. And these guys are all capable on both teams of being match winners in Test cricket, so it's just a different challenge.
ये है इंडिया और इंग्लैंड का महामुकाबला। लाइव मैचेस तो आप देख लेंगे, मगर खेल के पीछे टीमों की स्ट्रैटेजी, टीमों की चाल और फिर आपके सवाल, ये सब होंगे स्पोर्ट्स तक। तो अभी तक अगर आपने स्पोर्ट्स तक को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो फटाफट सब्सक्राइब भी कर लीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन की घंटी भी बजा डालिए।